2 pots, same soil, same water, same hands planting them on the same day. 6 months later, I dug up the first one, pale, thin. The entire harvest fit in one palm. Then I dug up the second pot, heavy, golden. I needed both hands just to carry what came out of a single container. The difference between those 2 pots came down to 7 decisions, most of them made before either rhizome ever touched soil. I'm going to walk you through all 7 today. And here's the one that surprised me most when I finally understood it. Decision number 3 has nothing to do with soil, nothing to do with water, and nothing to do with fertilizer. It takes 2 days. Almost nobody does it. And it might be the single biggest reason most home ginger crops fail before they even start. Stick around, we're getting to it. If this is your first time here, this channel is built around one idea: grow smarter, not harder. Practical results, real reasoning behind every technique. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications before we go any further. What's coming in this video alone is worth that. Now let's get into the 7 decisions that changed my ginger harvest completely. Before decision 1 makes sense, you need 30 seconds of biology. Not because it's interesting, because it directly controls 4 of the 7 decisions we're about to make. Ginger is not a root. What we harvest is a rhizome, an underground stem. Roots grow downward. Rhizomes grow horizontally, spreading outward just beneath the soil surface. That one fact explains everything. It's why deep planting kills ginger. It's why wide containers outperform deep ones. It's why spacing matters more than most guides admit. Every decision from here is a direct consequence of that horizontal, surface-loving biology. The second thing you need to know: ginger evolved in the understory of tropical rainforests in South and Southeast Asia. Not full sun, not dry soil. Filtered light, constant humidity, loose and slightly acidic soil that never fully dries out and never sits waterlogged. When something goes wrong with your ginger, it is almost always because one of those 2 things, the horizontal biology or the tropical environment, was violated somewhere in the process. Keep both in your mind. They're the lens through which every other decision gets made. Now, most guides will jump straight to planting from here. That's the first mistake. Because decision 2, the one that determines whether your rhizome is even viable before you waste a pot of soil on it, happens at the grocery store. And if you get it wrong here, nothing you do afterward can save the harvest. Here is something the supermarket does not want you thinking about. Conventional ginger on most grocery store shelves has been treated with a chemical called a sprout inhibitor. It is applied deliberately to prevent the ginger from budding on the shelf, because a rhizome that sprouts looks bad to shoppers and shortens shelf life. The chemical works exactly as designed in the store. In your garden, it is a disaster. You press that treated rhizome into your soil. You water it. You wait. Nothing happens. Week 3, still nothing. Week 5, still nothing. You blame yourself. You assume ginger just doesn't work in your climate. The rhizome was never going to grow. It was chemically instructed not to. The fix is non-negotiable. Always plant organic ginger. Organic rhizomes have not been treated. Give them warmth and good soil, and they wake up fast. Now, not all organic ginger is equally good. Here is how to pick the best possible piece. Weight first. It should feel dense and heavy in your hand, not hollow, not light. That weight is stored moisture and carbohydrate reserves. It's the energy your plant burns through during the first 3 to 4 weeks before its root system can feed itself independently. A lightweight rhizome is already running on empty. Count the growth buds, those small raised nubs on the surface, sometimes pointed, sometimes slightly greenish, are called eyes. Each one is a future shoot. Each shoot drives the underground rhizome expansion that builds your harvest. A piece with 6 healthy buds will outperform a piece with 2 buds from the same plant. This is not a subtle difference. It's the arithmetic of your harvest. Skip anything soft, shriveled, or showing mold. These rhizomes are compromised before they're even in the ground. One more thing worth knowing. Most home growers only ever plant standard yellow ginger. But baby ginger, harvested young, is ready in as little as 4 months and has a completely different flavor profile. Galangal and turmeric belong to the same plant family and respond to nearly identical growing conditions. Once you've done this once, all of them open up. You have your organic rhizome, firm, heavy, covered in growth buds. Now here is where almost every guide tells you to go straight to the soil. That's decision 3, and it's the one I teased at the beginning. The 2-day step that almost nobody does. And it's the reason most rhizomes rot before a single shoot ever forms. Fill a large bowl with room temperature water. Not cold. Cold water can shock rhizome tissue and slow everything you're trying to start. You have 2 options for what to add, and both are grounded in real mechanisms. Option 1, hydrogen peroxide. Add 1 teaspoon of 3% hydrogen peroxide per cup of water. Hydrogen peroxide is a natural oxidizing sanitizer. What it does is kill fungal spores and bacteria sitting on the surface of the rhizome. Pathogens you cannot see, but that can enter your soil and cause rot before the first shoot forms. Think of this soak as decontamination before planting. Option 2, apple cider vinegar. Add 2 tablespoons per liter of water. Ginger evolved in environments where rainfall is naturally slightly acidic, a pH of around 5.5 to 6.0. The apple cider vinegar briefly recreates that chemistry. It signals to the rhizome tissue that growing conditions are favorable, and it acts as a mild antifungal at the same time. Growers who use this method report slightly faster sprouting from rhizomes that have been sitting on shells for several weeks. Either method works. I rotate between them depending on the condition of the rhizome. Soak for 8 to 14 hours. Overnight is ideal. While the rhizome sits in that bowl, it is rehydrating at a cellular level. The growth buds are swelling. Dormancy is ending. The ginger is waking up before it has touched a single grain of soil. Now here is the actual decision 3. The step almost nobody does, and the one that matters most. After the soak, take your rhizomes out of the water. Place them on a clean, dry surface in a warm, airy spot, out of direct sunlight. Now don't touch them for 2 days. You are waiting for the cut surfaces, anywhere the rhizome was broken or cut apart, to dry into a thin, hardened layer called a callus. Here is the science. An open rhizome wound in moist soil is a perfect entry point for Pythium and Fusarium, the 2 fungal pathogens most responsible for ginger rot. They do not need the wound to be large. They need it to be wet and unprotected. A callus seals that entry point. It takes 2 days to form. Without it, a freshly cut rhizome planted into moist soil can begin to rot within 48 hours of going into the ground, long before any shoot appears. When the cut ends look dry and slightly darker, almost leathery in texture, you're ready. Now, there is one more step I want to show you. It is not mandatory, but it eliminates the 4-week anxious waiting period after planting, and once you try it, you will never go back. After callusing, place your rhizomes in a shallow tray lined with a thin layer of slightly damp cocoa coir or newspaper. Lay the rhizomes on top, buds facing up, nothing covering them. Place the tray somewhere consistently warm, 24 to 27 degrees Celsius, 75 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. On top of a refrigerator works. near a water heater works. A seedling heat mat set to that range is ideal. Within 7 to 14 days, you will see the growth buds crack open and produce small green shoots. Once those shoots are 1 to 2 centimeters long, your rhizomes are confirmed viable and ready to plant. You are confirming the rhizome will actually grow before it goes into a container. A pre-sprouted rhizome shows above-ground growth within days of planting instead of weeks. And if a rhizome doesn't respond to pre-sprouting, you find out now, not 3 months from now. If you're finding value here, this is a good moment to hit subscribe and turn on the bell. The channel is built on exactly this kind of depth-first growing content. Don't miss what's coming next. Rhizomes selected, soaked, calloused, pre-sprouted. Now it needs a home. And this is where most people make a very expensive mistake. Not in what they buy, but in what they put in the pot. The soil mix I'm about to show you is the difference between rhizomes that grow large and ones that stay small, no matter what else you do right. Go wide, not deep. Ginger rhizomes spread horizontally. A container that is 35 to 40 centimeters across and only 20 to 25 centimeters deep will outperform a deep, narrow pot every time. Every extra centimeter of horizontal width is room for more rhizomes. Drainage holes are non-negotiable. Ginger tolerates drought before it tolerates standing water. Blocked or absent drainage holes will kill your crop. Before you add a single gram of soil, confirm water flows freely. Now, the soil mix. Standard commercial potting mix is structurally acceptable. It is nutritionally inadequate and often too dense for ginger's shallow spreading roots. Here's what to build instead. 2 parts quality potting mix. Structure, aeration, base moisture retention. 1 part aged compost, not fresh. Fresh compost contains ammonia compounds that burn feeder roots. Aged compost is biologically stable and colonized by the mycorrhizal fungi and beneficial bacteria that ginger roots form symbiotic relationships with. A 2019 study published in Scientia Horticulturae found that mycorrhizal inoculation in ginger growing medium increased rhizome yield by 31% compared to uninoculated controls. Aged compost naturally delivers this. 1 part coarse perlite. Roots need oxygen as much as they need water. Perlite creates macropores in the mix that allow gas exchange at the root zone. It also ensures drainage stays fast even when you water heavily. Before filling your container, stir in 1 generous handful of bone meal. Bone meal is approximately 15% phosphorus by weight. Phosphorus is the mineral directly responsible for ATP synthesis, the energy currency the plant uses to build underground structures. When phosphorus is adequate, the plant directs energy into rhizome expansion. When it is deficient, that energy goes into leaf production instead. The rhizome mass difference between phosphorus-sufficient and phosphorus-deficient ginger plants in container trials is typically 40 to 60%. Add a light dusting of wood ash for potassium. Potassium regulates stomatal opening, controls water uptake efficiency, and activates more than 60 plant enzymes related to growth and disease resistance. Together with the bone meal, you are building a mineral profile that targets underground productivity specifically. Check your soil pH before planting. Ginger performs best between 5.5 and 6.5, slightly acidic. Above 7.0, phosphorus becomes chemically unavailable even if it's present in the soil. A basic pH meter costs less than $5 and removes all guesswork. Container built, soil mixed. Now comes the planting itself. And this is where I see experienced, knowledgeable gardeners silently destroy months of preparation in about 30 seconds. It is a single number, and almost everyone gets it wrong in the same direction. Plant shallow, specifically 3 to 5 centimeters below the surface. That is it. Every instinct says deeper is safer. Deeper feels more planted, more protected, more committed. But for ginger, deeper creates two simultaneous problems. The weight of soil above slows shoot emergence, and the consistently moist, deeper environment is exactly where Pythium rot thrives. You callus the rhizome specifically to protect it. Planting too deep undoes that protection. Place each rhizome with growth buds facing upward. They are already reaching toward the light. Place them pointing downward, and you have just added 2 to 3 extra days of development time before any shoot finds its way out. Cover gently with your soil mix. Press the surface down softly. Never compact it. Air movement at the root zone matters. Space multiple rhizomes at least 20 centimeters apart. In a 40 centimeter pot, that gives you 2 rhizomes with room for both to expand without competing. Crowding is one of the most common reasons for undersized harvests in container ginger. Now mulch immediately. Never skip this. A 2 centimeter layer of straw, dried leaves, or wood chips across the entire soil surface does 3 jobs at once. It reduces surface evaporation by up to 70%, stabilizes soil temperature through cool nights by 3 to 5 degrees Celsius, and physically protects the shallow rhizomes as they establish. In any climate where nighttime temperatures drop below 18 degrees Celsius during early growth, that temperature regulation alone can determine whether your ginger sprouts on schedule or sits dormant for an additional 2 to 3 weeks. 5 decisions in, your ginger is in the ground. Now it needs to be kept alive. And the way most growers water ginger is quietly working against their plants, 1 session at a time. Not because they water too much or too little, because they water at the wrong place. I'll show you the method that changed everything for me. The target is soil that feels like a wrung-out sponge, damp throughout, never soaking, never dry. That is the zone. Before every watering, push your finger 2 centimeters into the soil. Still moist? Come back tomorrow. Dry at that depth? Water slowly until it trickles from the drainage holes. Now here is the method. Bottom watering. Instead of pouring water onto the surface, set your container in a shallow tray of water for 20 to 30 minutes. The soil draws moisture upward through capillary action from below. 2 things happen. The surface stays drier, which cuts surface mold and fungal germination dramatically. And the roots grow downward toward the moisture, building a deeper, more structurally stable root system than top-watered plants typically develop. Try this method for 2 weeks. The difference in how the plants look and perform is visible. Now, light. Harsh midday sun scorches ginger leaves and stresses the plant enough to slow rhizome development measurably. Deep shade starves photosynthesis and produces weak, leggy growth. The sweet spot is bright, indirect light, morning sun followed by filtered or shaded afternoon conditions. Under a light canopy, near an east-facing window, in a spot that loses direct exposure after noon. The leaves tell you everything. Crisping or bleaching edges mean too much direct sun. Move it to a shadier spot. Long, thin stems stretching upward and slow, weak growth mean not enough light. Move it closer to a brighter position. Deep green, upright, full leaves, leave it exactly where it is. One more thing most indoor growers miss: humidity. Outdoors in warm climates, natural humidity is usually enough. Indoors, or in dry regions, the air actively pulls moisture out of your plant between waterings. Mist the foliage lightly every 2 to 3 days. or place a shallow tray of water beside the pot. As it evaporates, it raises the ambient humidity around your ginger by 10 to 20 percentage points. Small detail, consistent application. Compounded over a full growing season, it produces visibly fuller growth. Water, light, humidity, those keep the plant alive. What Decision 7 does is tell the plant where to put its energy. And this is the lever most home growers never pull. The right feeding protocol does not just grow more ginger. It grows heavier, denser, more flavorful rhizomes at the same growing time. Ginger is a heavy feeder during its active growth phase. Most growers plant it, water it occasionally, and call that a care routine. That approach produces mediocre harvests, consistently. Every 2 to 3 weeks during the growing season, apply a liquid feed. The rule is high phosphorus, high potassium, low nitrogen. Nitrogen drives leafy, above-ground vegetative growth. It produces beautiful foliage. It does very little for the rhizomes. In fact, excess nitrogen during rhizome bulking actively competes with phosphorus and potassium uptake. You can overfeed nitrogen and end up with a smaller harvest than a plant that received no additional feeding at all. What builds rhizomes is phosphorus and potassium. Every feeding decision should target those two. Compost tea is the most effective and most biologically complete liquid feed available. Steep aged compost in water for 24 hours. Strain it. Apply it as a liquid. Beyond nutrients, it delivers a fresh inoculation of beneficial soil microbes with every application. Microbes that continue working in the root zone between feeding sessions. A 2020 meta-analysis in Applied Soil Ecology found that compost tea application increased available soil phosphorus by an average of 28% over the growing season, compared to untreated control plots. It compounds in ways a liquid synthetic fertilizer never does. If compost tea is not available, a liquid fertilizer with an NPK ratio of 5-10-10 or a similar root development profile works well as a substitute. As the season progresses, leaves beginning to yellow naturally, stems pulling back toward the soil, stop feeding and reduce watering. The plant is completing its cycle and redirecting all remaining energy into the rhizomes. This is the final investment phase. Do not interrupt it. Problems will arise. Catching them in the first week of symptoms costs you nothing. Catching them in week 4 costs you the harvest. If your ginger shows no sprouting after 3 to 4 weeks, the first thing to check is soil temperature. Ginger requires a minimum soil temperature of 21 degrees Celsius, 70 degrees Fahrenheit, to germinate. Not air temperature, soil temperature. If you are growing in early spring or a cool climate, the air may be warm while the soil stays cold for weeks. A seedling heat mat placed under the pot maintains consistent warmth and can reduce germination time by 30 to 50% in cool conditions. If temperature is fine, verify the rhizome was organic and untreated. If there is any doubt, start fresh. Yellow leaves have 3 causes in order of frequency: overwatering, poor drainage, and nutrient deficiency. Start with drainage. Water should flow freely from the base when you water. Then, review your watering frequency. If the soil stays wet for more than 2 days after watering, add more perlite to the mix or reduce your watering volume. If drainage and watering are correct, the plant is hungry. A single compost tea application can reverse mild yellowing within 10 to 14 days. Rotting rhizomes are almost always caused by planting too deep or soil kept too wet. Remove affected pieces immediately. Pythium rot spreads fast through soil contact. Let the container dry out fully before assessing the remaining rhizomes. Replant shallow in a fresh mix. Prevention is everything here. Once you see surface signs of rot, underground damage is already 2 to 3 times what is visible. Stunted, sparse plants not producing new leaves come down to 2 things: insufficient light or no feeding in too long. Move it to a brighter location and apply a liquid feed. Most plants show visible new growth within 7 to 14 days of both changes applied together. Ginger is naturally pest resistant due to its gingerol content, but spider mites and aphids occasionally establish on indoor plants in low humidity. A spray solution of water with 5 drops of neem oil per 500 milliliters applied to the underside of leaves resolves most infestations within 1 to 2 applications. Catch it at the first sign. A large established pest colony takes 4 to 6 weeks to fully clear. Ginger is typically ready 8 to 10 months after planting. The clearest signal is the foliage. When leaves yellow naturally and the stems pull back toward the soil on their own, the plant has completed its above-ground life cycle. All remaining energy is stored in the rhizomes. Dig from the outer edges inward. Work slowly. As the soil falls away, you will see them. Heavy, forked, golden rhizomes, some the size of your fist. Brush off excess soil. Rinse gently. Air dry for 24 hours before storage. Refrigerated, fresh ginger keeps for 3 to 4 weeks. Frozen, it keeps for 6 months and actually grates more easily from frozen than from fresh. Now here is something most growing guides never mention, and it is one of my favorite things about growing ginger. At 4 to 5 months into the growing season, once the plant is visibly established and producing new leaves regularly, carefully brush away soil at the outer edge of your container. Young rhizomes form near the surface along the outer margin. Snap or cut a small section, just a piece. Cover the rest back up. The plant continues growing. The main rhizomes keep developing. And you have fresh ginger to cook with right now, months before the season ends. I use this throughout every single growing season. It completely changes the experience from a waiting game into an ongoing harvest. One final thing, and this one took me longer to figure out than I'd like to admit. At the end of every harvest, set aside the largest, firmest, most bud-covered rhizomes. Do not eat those. Store them in a cool, dry place, wrapped loosely in paper, away from moisture, and use them as your planting stock for next season. Every year you do this, you are selecting for the most productive genetics your crop has produced. Over 3 seasons of consistent selection, the average rhizome weight at harvest increases measurably. You are not just growing ginger, you are improving the ginger you grow. Ginger rewards the growers who treat each season as preparation for the next one. 7 decisions. Every one of them grounded in how ginger actually works. If you implement all 7, your next harvest will be unrecognizable compared to anything you've grown before. If this video helped you, subscribe now. New growing content, same depth, every week. Hit the bell so you never miss one. Drop a comment below. Have you grown ginger before? What happened? Or, if you're starting fresh after this, what question is still on your mind? I read every comment. I genuinely want to hear from you. Until next time, get your hands in the soil and happy growing.